Today I'm in Weatherford, Oklahoma, headed for the Heartland of America Heritage Museum. And it's a lot of times just called Heartland Museum. And here's a look at the entrance. But the main reason it caught my attention and wanted to come to this place is I heard that they had the diner where Elvis Presley had ate. And I'm assuming that's it right there. But we're going to go inside and pay for admission before we take a look around, and we'll probably do inside the museum before we go to the actual diner part. So let's get a little closer look at also a helicopter they have on display here, and that along with the benches around it is dedicated to the military branches of the United States. Before I actually go into the museum, I wanted to give you a look at a sign that's outside that's advertising the museum as well as telling you what the gas price was in Oklahoma the day that we were there. One of the first things you'll notice as you enter the museum is this bright, shiny red Model A Ford that they have on display. So I'll give you a little bit closer look at it. They also have a display here, looks like by the artwork of a certain man, and it is, I guess he's maybe a man from their town. I'm not sure. I didn't ask the curator there, but I like the display. It's Bob Dawson's art, they've said it in here on the little card as well as at the top. As it's getting very near the 4th of July or Independence Day, I see a display that has a Jeep in it that looks like it may be honoring it. So it doesn't belong to the museum?
No, it's on loan. We only own two cars. The one right over there, the first car, we own that. The one on each end over there. But most people just start over here and go up and down every aisle and just enjoy the museum, huh?
I
Looks
will.
like you're going to.
All right. Thank you so
Are you
much.
staying out of
I'd like to mention a couple of things, and then you can just kind of enjoy the video without so much talking. This museum opened in 2007, and it's supposed to depict the 1800s to the 1950s. There is an admission charge for the museum, and it varies in different prices, and I'll list that in the description box below. So let's enjoy the museum. The sign on the milk machine tells you that Weatherford, Oklahoma did have a dairy there from 1930 to 1950. Now we're coming up on a display that represents the funeral home, and you'll notice a couple of old-fashioned caskets to the left there in the display. Now on to the next display. To the Frontier Medical Office. They have books by each display, so if it's got numbers by it, you can look it up and find out all about that instrument or whatever the object is, which is a good thing because a lot of them people wouldn't know what they were from years ago. And of course, the doctors, a lot of them made house calls and they would have their own doctor bags to take with them. And looks like that may be a leg brace over there, but I like the picture showing it looks like maybe a doctor rushing to a house for something. Some more clothing of yesteryear in this one, but it looks like this is mainly dedicated to children. But there's a lot of little shoes here that caught my attention. This one, of course, you can recognize right off the bat is dedicated to photography and movie making and that kind of things. Now you're getting a look at a pedal type Singer sewing machine. The Singer company is still in business today. There's also buttons and lace and those kind of things in this display. Of course, there's little miniature doll houses and of course cowboys for the little boys to play with, but those little girls would have sure loved to have these little room sets here and played with those. Well, we'll head on over and see what they have in the general store section of the museum. Looks like cigars were selling for 5 cents a piece back then. And the old Coke machine and Coke sign there. Look like they got meat wrapped to go also. Well, this tells it all, the early day barber and beauty shop. And I know women are sure glad they don't have to go through this kind of equipment. The old-fashioned hair dryer. Of course, here's the barber's chair. The men's got the soap dishes where they would lather up for their shaves that they were getting. Now we're going to head over to the city drugstore and pharmacy. And a lot of those pharmacy deals you would also find that they would have in the drugstores soda fountain equipment and stuff like this. Not the way we normally get our ice cream today. Looks like ice cream sundaes were selling for 35 cents. Of course, when you're in Oklahoma, you've got to give credit to the oil and gas exploration. A neat little model here to go by. Now we're headed over to the newspaper and printing shop. As we are in Weatherford, looks like they have a sign from a local person's. Of course, there's always advertisement, but a lot of these people won't remember, and some it will bring back memories to you. So I thought I'd just take a quick look at some of these. Well, we went from this type lunchbox years ago to brown bags for lunch, and now we got little decorated school boxes, they call them. So even the lunch deals to take for school has changed a lot. Well, let's head on down to Wash Day exhibit. Looks like she's got some ironing to do with that metal iron that she heats on a stove before she irons. Old-fashioned rocker washer, and of course the ring type wash machine. And then we've got to go, of course, over to the kitchen section to look at it. Well, cooking stoves have come a long way from that. Everybody years ago would have a wash bowl or wash pan, they called it, and a bucket for your water. A little bit different from the bottled water most of us are used to. This is dedicated to the sewing room and bedroom. This museum is just packed with so much stuff, it's hard to imagine all of it. Now to what appears to be a vet's office or veterinarian office. Could be that it's even a people office too, but looks like he's taking care of a monkey, and he also has, looks like maybe a puppy or two on the scales up there. And now on to musical instruments from yesteryear. Here's some farm and ranch tools from the past. It's 1905 saddle. And the buggy. I'm not sure if that's a horn or a light. I think it's a horn maybe on this one. I'm not sure. Different. And this truck has Albert's in Weatherford, Oklahoma on it, and it is a wrecker service. Now let's take a look at a model. It looks like they have kind of crammed back in the corner here, but this truck, a nice house, and it says it's a model of a western town built by James Edward Moore. Looks like there's the bank, and up at the top there it says it's a marshal's office, and right now it's sitting on top of the Long Branch Saloon, it looks like, and there's a church over there to the end, so makes for a nice layout for a town where they could get it all spread out, I'm sure. This next booth I found very interesting. It is telling something about the famous people that came from Oklahoma. At the first display case there, they've got a section dedicated to astronaut Thomas Stafford, and he was actually from the town of Weatherford, where this museum is located. And next, here's a dedication to Mickey Mantle, a baseball slugger. Some of the others on this display I wasn't very well acquainted with, but I see one down here that is of Will Rogers, and I'm very acquainted with him as he was a movie star as well as a humorist, and Will was from in and around Claremore, Oklahoma. He's buried there, and they have a museum dedicated to him there in Claremore. And here's another one that I'm familiar with. That's Paul Harvey. He was a radio commentator, and he would finish up his sayings on the radio with the saying, "And this is the rest of the story." And they've included that in his display also. And looks like they have a little bit more on astronaut Thomas Stafford on the wall there. And just above astronaut Stafford is a little dedication there to the Oklahoma Miss America from 1967, Jane J. Rowe. And down at the very bottom, as I'm getting ready to leave this display, is that of Jim Thorpe. He was a Olympic athlete in track and field. Jim Thorpe would also become a professional football star. Well, now let's leave the inside of the museum and head on out toward the small diner where Elvis Presley once ate. The lady did tell me they had moved this diner from Main Street to where it is now, which was just a little ways over, she said. But I am so glad that they saw that it was something worthwhile to say. So let's go on in. Well, at least it's semi-air conditioned in here, even though it says air conditioned. With it being in the upper 90s, it doesn't feel that, but looks like the cook is fixing some hamburgers and maybe some steak there and some French fries. Cash register pay. Somebody paid 30 cents for something. And had a lot of these back years ago, especially on Route 66 in their little shops. Some records could be played while you're eating your food. It looks like they've got a lot of food laid out. Well, there's the small air conditioner trying to keep up with it. Looks like it was nickel, pretty cheap. And a waitress here. But this is what really catches your eye about this little thing, this little diner, I should say. It's Elvis Presley ate here. course, they want to get a dedication. And we are going to look for that signature on that display tray. Looks like remark says Cool Daddy's what it looks like to me. Of course, I want to give you an information on what today's special is. Man, can you believe you got a T-bone steak for $2? Inflation has really come a long way. They would have a potbelly stove usually in the middle of a school back years ago to keep it warm, and there's a coal bucket with some coal in it, and of course they had music classes. As I finish up my stop here at the museum with a look at the blacksmith and buggy repair shop, I'd like to say there was just so much to see, and I couldn't video every little thing, or the video would have been way too long. But it is worth a stop to see, and I'd also like to say thank you so very, very much for watching my video. I hope you found something in it very interesting to you, and will give me a thumbs up on my video. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to. Once again, thanks so much for watching my video, and have a good day.